to Films with the Woman in My Life. My name is Brennan, and joining me tonight is Nicole.
Hello, everyone.
And Mama K.
Hey.
And tonight we will be reviewing Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. It's a zombie apocalypse movie from 2004. It's the 15th anniversary and the month of when it came out originally. So we thought, just like when we did the Eternal Sunshine review, we'd do another older anniversary movie.
It's always good to come back to a classic.
And you said it was a rom-com. That's the best.
It's a rom. So yeah, let me read the synopsis real quick here before we get into some of our discussion. It's a rom-com. That's a zombie romantic comedy. It follows the adventures of underachiever Shaun, played by Simon Pegg, his best mate Ed, played by Nick Frost, as they cope with a zombie invasion of North London and attempt to rescue Shaun's girlfriend Liz, played by Kate Ashfield, and his mom, played by Penelope Wilton.
I love her.
And it's going... Yeah, she's great. Barbara. She's great in this.
Barbara.
So those are four of your, I guess, 7 principal characters. Other than that, you have David and Diane, the flatmates of Liz, played by Dylan Moran and Lucy Davis. And then you get Bill Nighy playing Philip, Barbara's husband and Shaun's stepfather. So I think most people will know Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. They're probably the 2 most famous British actors. Bill Nighy, also quite famous.
He looks like he's been in a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay, I know you're a fan of his. Some of the stuff he's been in.
Yeah, Love Actually, he had a really funny role in that. And then the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise in that. What was he? Wow. No. What was his character in that?
He was Davy Jones in that.
Davy Jones, yeah. Big deal.
Gooey guy. Tentacle face.
Gooey guy.
Yeah, you called them gooey guys.
Yeah.
And then some of our lesser-known actors and actresses here. Lucy Davis is Diane. I know her from a couple of American sitcoms. She's on Marin. She's on Better Things. And she was originally the Pam Beesly equivalent on the British The Office.
Yes.
When that was originally out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so had that taken off. That's who she played.
Was she
Dawn
also
Tinsley.
named Pam in that series?
Her name was Dawn in that.
Oh.
But she was the receptionist. She was the equivalent. She was a receptionist dating the warehouse worker guy. Penelope Wilton, the mom. I don't recognize her from much. I know she's in the Exotic Marigold Hotel movies.
I think she was in... Yeah, she's in other British stuff with, primarily female movies in Britain. So I think she was in Calendar Girls. I've seen her in a few different things.
Yeah, she works mostly in British things. Dylan Moran is like a comedian, and he...
Oh, you wouldn't pick that up.
Yeah, not in this, he's not.
No, in this he's horrible. But he is the co-creator and writer and star in the TV show Black Books, which is a British TV show. That's probably his most famous role. That was 10, 15 years ago. Not a whole lot since then. And then Kate Ashfield, who is, I guess, the romantic lead in this. I don't recognize her from anything. Do you guys know her from anything else?
No.
No, I feel like I've seen her face before, but maybe it's because I watched the movie before that I thought she looked familiar.
She has a kind of some...
I saw her the first time that I watched Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I saw her the first time I watched... Yeah, she's from the other time I watched Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we should say I've seen Shaun of the Dead like at least 40 times. Like, I've seen this movie a lot. And Mama K, I know you've seen it a couple times as well.
I've seen it a handful of times, but mostly when you're flipping through the TV and so I was just noting last night that I was like, I can't remember the last time I saw the actual beginning of the movie. So it was nice to watch it from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's on TV a lot, so something like you jump in whenever it's, kind of halfway through or whatever. And then Nicole, I know you are probably you've seen it. This is your second time.
Yeah, I've only seen this 2 times now.
So yeah, I guess it ranges from having seen it front to back over and over, kind of catching it on TV, pretty frequently, and then the total new. So 3 different kind of experience levels.
Yeah, this is some people's Jumanji, like how I turn on Jumanji every time it's on TV.
Yes, Nicole's favorite movie is the original Jumanji. So this is
some people's Jumanji. I like that.
Yeah, this is some people's Jumanji.
We don't know who, but some people.
Yeah, someone's Jumanji's this.
Somebody somewhere.
So I'll go into the way we rate things here at Films with the Women of My Life. We rate on 4 criteria, and those are the plot, the characters, the visual and sound, and the overall resonance and feel of the movie. So I will start with Mama K. What do you think of the plot of Shaun of the Dead?
Oh, I mean, I love the plot of this movie. I don't like zombie movies, but first, it's British, so I'm in. And it's a comedy, so I like that. But I just thought the plot was so funny. The way, I mean, Edgar Wright as a filmmaker makes me want to watch a movie anyway. So we haven't talked about him yet, but I love the plot of this movie. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Edgar Wright yet. I think we'll talk about him some more in like the visual and sound because I think that's where he shines really. But he did the Canadian film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Baby Driver was his most recent U.S. release. But we could talk more about him in the visual and sound. But Nicole, what did you think of the plot?
Well, I guess in terms of like parody films, this was like the original parody zombie film, right?
Yeah, I would say one of the first. I mean, I'm sure there were others, but this was,
I think I care for other ones better, like more than this one. I don't know. I'm not one for parody. British films.
So, like Zombieland, or I mean, the only other zombie parody movie I can think of is Zombieland. So.
I think that's what I'm probably most comparing it to, and I thought that one was much better than this one.
Well, Zombieland, I think, was
so that helps.
Oh yeah, Zombieland I think is a good movie too. I think I prefer this, but I think they're both good.
Yeah.
We should say this came first, but
right.
Neither of you guys gave a number rating. I forgot to say we rate 1 to 5. I know you guys don't always strictly reside in those, but
yeah, I guess I would give this like a 2.5, 3
for story.
For the plot, yeah,
for plot
story, whatever
Yeah, I think for a plot, I give it a 4.5. I really love it.
I think it gets a little cloudy from like the beginning when we're watching him go through his mundane day-to-day thing. I mean, you see all the little background foreshadowing, so I like that. But then when we get into the actual zombies, like Mama Kay said, I'm not a zombie fan either, so I agree that
the zombies are the worst part of this movie.
Yeah, so. I don't get into that.
I mean, you could say they're the worst part. I think some other things are the worst part. I like the zombie, but anyway, the plot. I also agree. I give it a 4-5. I really like this plot. I mean, I think I've watched it so many times now that I've gotten to the point where I'm nitpicking certain things that I really don't like that stand out. But
but you're also seeing things that like even last night when we were watching it, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that was so and so from such and such. Like,
right, it's something I could really appreciate. That every time, I've seen it so many times. There's still new things every time. Like
that's a good movie when you can pick up things that you haven't seen after watching it X amount of times. Like you notice that the one guy in the store came in later and was a zombie. Like I like stuff like that too. When you pick up little things that were missed before.
Yeah, it's a really smart film. The way he filmed it is really smart. So.
Yeah, and we should say the writing. It's also written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, the star. The writing on this is really. I don't think there's a single wasted line of dialogue. The writing is just really. It's tight. It's tight. It's circular, but in the best way because like. If a line's said once in one context, it's gonna be said again later in a different context, but it's gonna make sense both times, and it's just a lot of threads that all tie together. Really small threads, and they all weave really well. Like I said, it's only not a 5 because I think I've seen. If I saw this once or twice, I think it'd probably be a 5. But because I've seen it so many times, there's a few things that bother me coming like later on. But so we'll talk a little bit about what happens in the movie. Shaun is a salesman at an electronics store. He's kind of aimless. He's like in his I think he's 29, so late 20s guy, early 30s.
Yeah.
We start the movie where it's him and his girlfriend Liz. And they're sitting in the Winchester. That's the pub that him and his buddy Nick Frost's character Ed. Yeah, the two of them always hang out, and Liz.
I would
is
like
tired.
to hang out there. I definitely would.
It looks pretty sweet. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And Liz is tired of it, though. They go there, like, it sounds like every night or every time they want to go out, they go there. And
Liz is ready to move this relationship on to the next level. I mean, they've gotten too comfortable where they're at, so it's fish or cut bait time. So she's ready to either move it along because she wants to actually grow as a person, and Simon Pegg's character does not. He couldn't care less about growing into a more adult human being. So
sophisticated man.
Yeah.
And we get the pull from we get the pull from the friends. I like what Liz said. They only exacerbate things. You get Ed on one side, who's Shaun's friend, who's a total slacker, loser bum.
Yeah.
And is completely holding him back and like just like a wreck. And then you've got David and Diane, who are Liz's like college friends, who
they're
they're a couple.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're uptight. They're on the other end of this spectrum.
They are. They're super team Liz. Like Liz is the reason we exist. It's amazing.
Yeah, they cling so much to Liz, and for two different, and Liz and Shaun for two different reasons, and we'll get into that. 'Cause those are character developments that aren't as clear your first couple watches, but become way more clear later on, like as you keep watching it. And I really like how the characters are woven together. But that's like the push-pull. That's the conflict in the beginning. Is Liz is sick of Shaun not taking action in his life, and Shaun is just really, he's content. Like he just like doesn't really care. Not in like a hopeless, malicious way, but like just in a
content is the right word. He's just like, this is how I'm gonna be until the one night when they get drunk and he decides that he needs to reevaluate his life, and he writes on the whiteboard that he needs to the three things that he needs to do in life,
right?
Because he
so
wants
this is
to
where
have goals so that he could be with Liz.
So after this first prologue, I guess, where we get like the basic setup, we get basically a day in the life of Shaun. He wakes up, Ed's laying around being a bum. Their other flatmate, Pete, who is far more successful than either of them. It sounds like he's doing well at whatever company he's doing. He's basically moved on with his life and is tired of Ed's shit. And you get that trifecta relationship, the three of them living together. Then you get him at the electronics store, and all the other electronics associates are like kids, and they're all not listening to him. They don't give a shit. You also meet Bill Nighy's character in there. You meet Philip, and Philip and Shaun clearly have a contentious relationship, the stepfather-stepson relationship. And then after that, he's going through his day. Liz calls about reserving a table for Valentine's Day. He doesn't do it because he's distracted by work and just not paying attention. And all the while you're getting hints that zombie apocalypse is happening. You get like people just passing out in the street.
See,
but
this is where I come into play, because you need to watch the background in this one.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the part of the movie where Nicole shines, because she's not even watching the plot at all. She's watching all the stuff happen in the background.
Right. Right. She's not watching the main character. She's seeing
but it's very key to see what's happening behind. So I like that.
People passing out, what's going on the TV. So the zombie apocalypse is upon us. Right,
but like not only is Shaun, our principal character, not knowing, but none of the other characters around him are noticing either, which is making it really like it's it's obvious in the background that all the shit's happening, but like only the viewers are really recognizing. All the characters within the movie aren't recognizing at all. And so he's going through his day. He doesn't book the table, is the bottom line for Liz. He's supposed to drop off flowers for his mom the next day. That's why Philip came to confront him at the electronics store. Because it sounds like Shaun's flaked before, because he's kind of a childish bum. So Liz breaks up with him, and at that night, and David, the one flatmate, is being really condescending and awful, and Diane is kind of trying to support Shaun a little bit, but also clearly on Liz's side. She will take Liz's side, but she's always kind of pulling for Shaun. And so we've basically got this first day. We were introduced to all of our principal characters except for Barbara, who we'll get in the next day. But what do you? I'll let Nicole go first. What do you think of these characters? These 6, 7 principal characters.
Well, I haven't really decided what kind of character I like yet in any movie. I don't know what.
I think it changes. Any character can be good or bad. I mean,
no, see, I every time I do a review, I always tell you I don't like the character that blank. Okay. This one, I don't like the friend. Oh my god, he is repulsive, and it's not funny. Character? Yeah, it's not funny to me at all. I think he's just absolutely disgusting.
He's such a leech.
Yeah, I don't care for him at all. And also don't like the other flatmate,
David.
the one with the suit.
The one with the glasses. Oh.
I'm glad that his outcome is what it is at the end of this. I mean, does anybody else get Simon Pegg and Bill Burr mixed up?
I don't know who Bill Burr is.
He's another comedian that looks exactly like him.
The thing is, they look very similar. Their voices and attitudes do not seem at all similar at all.
I think it's just their appearance. I always get them mixed up. Whenever I see a Bill Burr thing, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Shaun of the Dead, but it's not at all.
They're both kind of short, working class looking redheads.
But
with that face.
This movie is not really that funny to me, unfortunately. So the characters don't do much. The other guy, all the guys in this suck. Everybody sucks. I don't like any other. I don't like any other personalities.
Who do you like? Do you like anyone in this movie?
Not really.
Interesting.
No, I don't really, because I don't like the mom when we find out later on what happened to her when she's sitting in the pub. Oh God, she's so stupid.
It's also, I mean, if you don't go along with the comedy, and it's very British, so
it's very British.
Yeah,
I'm not a British person.
No, you're not. I don't think any listeners will mistake you for a British person.
I give the characters I mean, I guess it's funny to some people. I give it like a 2.
Mama K, what do you think?
I mean, I like the characters. They're pretty flat and one-dimensional. There's not a whole lot, to them. They're all there to serve a purpose. And the thing that I like about the characters, the thing that's interesting is you have these characters and you think, oh, these guys are all really different. And then at some point in the movie, they actually meet another set of characters that is exactly the same as this first set of characters that you run with. Yeah, and that is the best thing. And the thing about the movie is the smartness of the whole thing is that it's subtle. Everything is done exactly the way it should be done, and Edgar Wright knows how to play that, amazingly. I don't think there's any character that I would want to step into their shoes for sure. But I think they all do exactly the job that they're supposed to do. And I like that. I like Simon Pegg. I like watching him. I don't really see him in a ton of stuff. I mean, he was in the Mission Impossible franchise, which, he was probably a little bit of a waste in, I guess. But
he's in the Star Treks too.
He's in what?
The new Star Treks.
Yeah, I don't know that. So
okay, well, he acts. He's not.
No, I'm just saying, but that's not my realm, so I don't see him in those kind of things. So, yeah, and I do love British shows and comedies and Faulty Towers and all that kind of junk. I just love that kind of stuff. So, everything about this is right up my alley, and the characters are good. I would give the characters a strong 4 because they do exactly the job that they need to get done in the film. Not that any of them are particularly deep or super interesting characters. One of my favorite characters is actually the one who's the female counterpart of Shaun when they meet
the girl they
them.
run into all the time.
Yeah. I really like her because there's something about her that's just that's almost
positive.
Like a little, and tongue in cheek. You guys know what's going on here, right? That this is the same character, only she's somebody else. So, yeah, I like.
Yeah,
I like them.
I think a lot of your takes are similar to what mine are. I like some British things, some British, movies and TV. Comedy usually not, but this one is a particularly good. It's probably one of my favorite British comedies. I'm also going to give the characters.
It's not like Monty Python comedy. It's not like.
I mean, that's not just British. It's also a little, dated. I think. I mean, I'm
hope
sure
after 40 watches, you still enjoy it.
I enjoy it. See, I enjoy it differently now, and that's a movie that you can repeat. Is that like the first time I watched it, I was probably in stitches laughing because I probably thought everything was awesome, and now I know the movie, like the back of my hand. So like it's, but even then, I'm still learning new things. Like, oh, I didn't notice that wrinkle on the back of my hand before. I appreciate different things about it now, and it's pretty much all the writing and visual style that I appreciate even more now.
Yes.
But the characters, and I think Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, when they do their movies together, they write very, very, very archetypal characters. There's nothing. There's nothing complex about them per se.
Right.
You learn new things about them as it goes, but it's nothing surprising. It's more of it's what you expect, but it's seeing those archetypes interact and producing the situations that they're in, and it's nothing. It's the characters don't evolve per se. I mean, I think Shaun's evolution in this is not almost nothing because of by the end he had. I mean, and I would say that about anyone. No one's really changed a whole lot by the end or by the end of their character arc.
I really wish that the gross friend changed. Like, he was just so, even.
I mean, no one changed. So that's the gross friend. Everyone, I think a lot of guys who watch this probably love Ed, Nick Frost's character, who is
because that's who they want to be. Like,
they want to be the bum couch surfing, pot
no
dealing,
job,
video game playing slob, and just get away with it for as long as they can, because that's what Nick Frost is in this. That's what Ed is.
I disagree though that Shaun didn't evolve because, when they showed him in the beginning and he was trying to, step in as manager of the electronic shops, and he was basically managing all kids that were 10 years younger than him, and they were giving him no respect.
That's very true.
All of a sudden he is like the go-to guy for making sure that they don't get killed during this zombie apocalypse.
That's true. He does become a leader.
He's very timid in trying to explain himself to his girlfriend, too, why he didn't make a reservation, why he didn't buy her flowers. He's a baby about it. And then he does evolve into trying to save her life. Like, he decides that he needs to step in and do this like a man.
Right.
I suppose he arcs a little bit, but I would say he kind of arcs back into a circle by the end. And when we get to the end, I'll explain what I mean by that.
Yeah, it does.
But so we get the setup with all of them. Then the next day happens, and the zombie apocalypse officially starts
in full swing.
And we'll talk about the visual sound after in a second here, but this is where the visual and sound of the movie and of all of Edgar Wright's movie is just peak.
Yes.
It's just without this is what makes his movies memorable, rewatchable, and just always fun and kinetic with their energy. We see basically the beginning of his first day, the first 15 minutes of his first day repeated, except now it's the zombie apocalypse. So you see he's walking down the street to the convenience store where he bought a soda before, and instead of a guy jogging by before, there's a guy sprinting by before. He's being chased by zombies. And instead of a guy walking down the street asking for change, he's like a zombie, but he's asking for change. But the whole time, Shaun's not noticing any of this because he's just walking along. He thinks the zombie's begging for money because he's making holding his hand. I was like, no, I don't have any change.
He's also working on 3 hours sleep because he was up the night before singing White Lines with his buddy. So.
Right, him and Dave Ross were jamming to White Lines. I guess we really saw the start of the apocalypse then, but
right.
It's not like
we saw it, but
all.
He didn't see it. Yeah,
no, they don't notice. We notice, but they don't notice. And he doesn't see the bloody handprints on the soda thing that he buys, and he makes it all the way back to the house after running into several without noticing that the zombie apocalypse has started. And then I guess the first zombie they see is Mary in the backyard. They just think she's drunk. They still don't realize it's a zombie because she's just pale and wandering around in the backyard.
It's just some random chick in their garden, they call it.
Yeah,
there's a girl in the garden. There's a girl in the garden.
So she starts trying to bite them, and they think she's just some crackhead kind of thing. and they push her into like a baseball tee, like the little mount.
No, it's an umbrella stand.
An umbrella.
Oh, it's an umbrella stand. Oh, I always thought it was
Yeah.
a baseball. Okay, yeah, an umbrella stand, and she falls right through it and like just pierces.
I love the hole that when she stands up, she's got a hole in
Yeah.
her body. I love that you can see his face in it.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
both their faces like pan through the hole in her stomach, and that's when they're like, oh shit. They like and they lock
going
themselves
on here.
They lock themselves inside, and this is a lot of this is where they like a lot of little good comedic bits here, and how it's shot too. Mama K, what do you think? What do you think of like the visual and sound of this movie? Because I we've talked about it a good amount up to here.
Yeah, I that's what makes it for me, because I mean it's basically you see a little bit of Groundhog Day kind of stuff going on to kind of give you an idea of how things have changed from the day before, and that he's such a routine dude that it literally takes somebody falling on an umbrella stand and making a hole in their body for him to realize it's not the same day as it was before. And you know, it's super charming the way that they try to kill. Another guy winds up being in the garden with her, and they try to figure out how to kill these zombies. And by now they've seen something on the television that says you have to go for the head and all of this kind of stuff.
Removing the head or destroying the brain.
Or destroying the brain, right? So they take out, the first thing they take out is like they gather a bunch of stuff.
They get like
in a
kitchen
laundry
supplies.
basket. Yeah, like a toaster, and they're just throwing things at it, and then pretty soon they throw a record, and that's one of the album, the 33 album sticks, and then it's like, oh, let's do that. So then they just get their whole album. Like, this is what we should do. We should kill them with vinyl, basically. Death by vinyl. Instead of trying to get into, they have a garden shed that probably has some serious weaponry in it, which we find out later is much better. They've got a cricket bat, and what's the other?
I think it's a shovel.
A shovel, yeah.
A shovel
and a cricket bat.
It's locked originally.
That
That's why they didn't want to try to go in, and then they're just like, they just ramp through.
Yeah, but instead, let's gather stuff in a basket and then also throw all of our albums. But the funny part is, while they're throwing the albums, they're going through it, and they're like, not Purple Rain, no, don't throw that. That's it's an original press, that
Second
kind of
coming.
stuff.
I like that.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. But meanwhile, Sade gets, thrown, which probably is legit. But
oh man,
because it belongs to what's her face, the love interest,
Liz.
So yeah,
what did you think, Nicole? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Well, I was just like, do you want me to give you a number, or are we not doing numbers?
Oh,
today?
sorry. Yeah, no, I do. I like the numbers.
Yeah, he totally excels in this. I mean, he's almost perfect. Because I want to talk about Baby Driver a little bit, which is fantastic at doing this, which would get a 5.
We're talking about this.
I know, but I would have to give this a 4.5 just because I have to compare it to the amazing work that he did sound-wise in Baby Driver. So,
okay.
I'm focusing on the visual of this in terms of the way that the zombies looked in this movie.
Yeah.
They were really lackluster, weren't they? They were just
they were Night of the Living Dead zombies.
People with people with white makeup on their face.
Some of them, I will give you that. I mean, some of them have some stuff going on, but
they weren't Walking Dead zombies. They were definitely, Night of the Living Dead, George Romero zombies.
Yeah, they were old school. They weren't modernly done. I mean, it was 2004, right. But I mean, still, I get what
it looked.
They were super
dated.
slow, but I think they had to be and otherwise it doesn't make. They couldn't have done any of the movie. It'd just be the zombies are way too fast, and now they're all dead.
Yeah. It did look a little dated to me at the end when they have there's a scene where this guy's guts are ripped out of his body, and I guess that one was okay, but. I had to give this movie... I think
that still holds up. We can get to that, but
it does. It does. Better than the rest of the movie, in my opinion. So I think I might give this movie like a 2.5 for the visual and sound. Nothing sticks out at me as having a good sound bits to it.
Yeah, no, I
love it.
I think the sound you could critique. I think the visuals. I'm hard pressed to critique a visual because of the way he cuts his movie. Especially even in the beginning when it shows him like brushing his teeth, putting his name tag on, and buttering putting jam on his toast. Like it's all quick shot and cut really well and kinetically. I use that word kinetic. It's just everything flows. I don't really get lulled in this movie, even watching it this many times. There's not
the whole middle's a lull.
You could, I mean, if you don't like any of the comedy and you don't care for the plot as it's going, then yes, I can understand that. But I think because of how it's shot, for me anyway, how it's shot, everything flows and there's no more than a 2 or 3 minute lull at a time at the most. I'm pretty into it the whole time. There's not a big bathroom break section I could have. Maybe at the end a little bit. There's a few parts, but for the most part, I'm flowing through it. And
I think on the last part of when they're almost to the Winchester is when I'm like, okay, you guys have been jumping into people's, over fences and in people's gardens, and that's a lull for me.
That's
that
what I
lasts
don't
a little
like.
too long.
When a character's stupidity gets so out of hand and so like, okay, you've done this for 20 minutes now. I think that's when it starts to lose me too.
I think they're mostly stupid characters. I mean, I don't think anyone's particularly like. I mean, even the smarter characters, I guess you could say, but even like Liz is, you could say she's like the voice of reason, but she's not really. She doesn't take action. She doesn't have an alternative plan. I mean,
right.
No one's particularly smart, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, I do like the scene that you're talking about too, when he's describing his plan of how he's got to get things done. And they keep switching it around because they keep thinking of like the worst case scenario. It's like, oh, okay, right. Well then we're gonna go and do it this way. I like that.
That's always one of the best. They do.
Yes.
They're trying to figure out what they're gonna do to basically save everyone and get somewhere safe. They're like, all right, we'll head to Barbara's house, take care of Philip. Philip flips around and he's like a zombie, and then it starts with, I'm so sorry, Philip, and they have to kill him. Yep. They run out of the house with Barbara, Phillip. And she's like swaying back and forth. That's always a great shot. They go to Liz's house, and then they're just like, we'll just a nice cup of tea till it all blows over. And then they're like, oh, no, that won't work because of whatever. And then they do the exact same thing again, but they speed it up. And I love the way they speed up the killing of Philip. The beginning is, I'm so sorry, Philip. And by the end, sorry. And they just bash him. And they just keep, like, every time they think of a new scenario, it's the exact same thing played faster. But even then,
that's a really good cut shot. I like that a lot.
So yeah, I guess for visual and sound, it's a 4 or 5 as well, just because the sound is while good is not excellent, and I've seen him do better sound in most of his other movies. Not to say it's not above average for most filmmakers, but the visual out of the park, great visual. Yeah. We can't go through this movie beat by beat. There's just too many scenes, too much going on. Yeah. The point is they get the whole crew together. They get Barbara, they get Philip, they get Diane, they get David, and then it's the two of them, and Liz. So we get the 7 of them at the beginning. They're all crammed into Philip's tiny car, and
Philip's Jaguar. It's a Jaguar.
His Jaguar, and Ed's always wanted to drive the Jag. And in order to get the Jag, he crashes their other good car, so that's the only car they have. So
that guy is such a dick.
Yeah,
I mean, my God,
Ed is just a selfish idiot. But again, no one's.
Isn't this where you learn that? Isn't this where you learn that what's his name, Pete, has become a zombie?
Yeah, their flatmate Pete has become a zombie. The one who does not like Ed and who is, sick of his shit and wants to move on with his life.
Yeah.
He was bit by some crackheads or something the night before, and it turns out he was bit by a zombie. He turned into a zombie, so they took his car, crashed it because Nick Frost, Ed, he wanted to drive the Jag. So now the 7 of them are all crammed in this tiny Jag. Philip's been attacked again, so he turns, and we're down to 6 now. The 6 of them, and it's the 6 of them for most of the rest of the movie. And so Shaun's the clear leader. Ed's disinterested. Liz is kind of always questioning him. David is the antagonist, not the zombies. David's the antagonist, the other flatmate, who we should say at this point, very obviously, and they explained a little bit later, has a crush on Liz. Right. And I think, I didn't notice it the first couple of times, but I think to me it's pretty clear at this point, Diane, David's girlfriend, has a crush on Shaun. Do you guys feel that?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's like a love square. And it becomes more clear why Dave and Diane are hanging around with Liz and Shaun to begin with. It's because they each have a crush on each of them, and they're just kind of together because, kind of convenience waiting on the shoe to drop kind of thing.
Right.
And then we have Barbara, who is kind of a ditz. Every time I watch this,
really a ditz.
Every time I think about this more, she really is not. She's almost as uninvolved as Ed. As far as like, I think it's really surprising to me how much more as I watch this that it's really Shaun, Liz, Diane, and David. The four of them have the tension and the drama, and Ed and Barbara are almost ancillary, kind of comic relief. Characters.
Oh man, I hate characters like that. I think she's so stupid. It just really pisses me off.
Who, Barbara?
Yes. Oh my god.
Barbara has some brilliant lines, though. I mean, I don't know. She's just such a quintessential like mom. You know, should I put the kettle on? Of course, yeah. There's a zombie apocalypse. Let's put the kettle on.
Are you hungry? Yes. No, Mom. I'll make some sandwiches. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of good lines,
classic.
Like good lines of that for, and then I think Ed will get the teenage young adult male stoner crowd laughs because he's always on the phone with one of his friends saying he doesn't have pot for them. And he's just dropping stupid lines. Like he's
not funny at all. Like zero funny.
Well, he's not funny to, a middle-aged mom and a woman who doesn't like British humor at all. Like you two are not exactly his. And I'm gonna say he's not my favorite character.
He's funny?
He's not my favorite character, but he's not only is he not my least, he's probably third. So out of the six of them, I think. I mean, I really like Shaun, and I really like Diane. I've liked Diane more and more every time watching this. Lucy Davis's character, and then it's probably Ed, and then Barbara.
Wow.
And then I don't like Liz, and I don't like David. I really don't like. I mean, David, you can't like.
Wait a minute, where does Philip fit in here? I love Philip.
Yeah, I mean, he's not in it as. I consider the other six the core because I'd say over half the movies with. Once it's the zombie apocalypse, Philip's there for very briefly. He gets taken out pretty early on. Yeah,
but I mean, he's pretty key.
I mean, I know you also like that side character they run into, but she has a minute or two of screen time. Like
I don't even remember her.
You blink and you miss her. She runs into Shaun in the beginning. They go over. They're old friends or something. How you doing? Like small talk. And that's another part of the.
She's there at the end,
and
when
she
the
shows
police
up at the
come
end
and everything. Yeah,
and it's good.
She's like, oh, good on you. I see you got to the Winchester. Oh, great, good on you.
But she's another example of the good
British.
Circular dialogue. When she first runs into Shaun, it's how you doing? And Shaun goes, surviving. It's just an off the cuff. Then later on at the end of the movie, it's her and Liz, and they run into her again. And she's like, how you doing? And Shaun and Liz are like, surviving. Like, now they, it truly means what it means.
Now it's actually, he's actually surviving.
But, all her lines, at the end of, when she's talking to Shaun the first time, he's like, oh, you still with Liz? And he's like, yep, 3 years now or whatever. And she's like, oh, glad somebody made it. And then at the end, she's like, oh, it's just you two now. And they're like, yeah. And she says, well, glad somebody made it.
Do directors do this on purpose where they pick a character who the actress looks exactly like another actress in the movie? Because she looks exactly like Liz.
No, she doesn't.
From what I remember, because obviously I don't remember her very much, but I think she's just too reminiscent of the other characters. It doesn't stand out.
I think she looks more like Diane than Liz, but
that's what I'm thinking of. That's what I meant.
Diane's the one with the little wool hat.
Yeah, she looks like one of them. If they want her to stand out as like a key component of this, I don't know if she's supposed to be
they're all 20-something white British people, and Nick Frost is the only fat one. So they kind of are. They're all going to look kind of similar at the end of at a certain point.
I don't think they want her to stand out. She's just sort of like a mirror image of Shaun. Like it's just something. It's just somebody else that he can play off of.
Right.
I think in the movie. So.
Yeah, and I mean. I'm going to say this. I don't like Liz at all. Like, the more I watch this, the more I dislike.
Really?
I don't like Liz because I don't feel sorry for. Because she says she wants to move on and do all this stuff with her life. But this whole time during the apocalypse thing, Shaun's the one taking action. She's not doing anything.
This is what she's been waiting for.
Yeah.
Right. She's been waiting for him to do this.
But why does he need to
do
it? Why can't she do something? When she finally does something, it's just dump him. But then the apocalypse happens and it goes right back to her following him. Why can't she? Why does she's just not an active character? And I'm gonna say there's a reason why she works the least. I'm gonna say she's the weakest actress of the core 6 or 7 characters.
Yeah, I mean that maybe
she gets when she gets emotional and she's like, I don't know David. I don't. No, it's not as good as everyone else. She's weaker than everyone else in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not a huge David fan either, but that's
nobody leaves that much of an impression on me. To be honest with you, I don't feel like any of these characters.
I just watched part of the movie and maybe slept some. So,
from what I saw,
which I'm not gonna lie, I had a tiny snooze there, probably about 5 minutes until the end. I mean, before the whole.
You did?
Well, once it gets all zombified, you start to lose your interest because it's no longer offbeat British comedy. Now it's zombie movie, and you're like, ugh, dumb. Like, so
yeah, that's not untrue.
So the 6 of them, they have their misadventures. They make it to the Winchester, Shaun's plan, and they have like a final showdown there. Barbara, we find out, was bitten en route there. She dies and turns right there.
Let's just hide that from everybody for the first couple hours I'm in there and pretend no one's going to know.
Don't bother you, Shaun.
I thought Shaun would be worried.
Yeah.
So, well, she's a ditz. I mean, it's not like fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's dumb, but so she turns. We're down to the 5. The whole time, David's gonna kill her because David's a dick, and David's like, you have to kill her. She's gonna be one of them." And they have a little showdown.
And he's trying to take over, and that's not working.
No, because he sucks, and no one likes him, and he's not helpful.
Right.
So Shaun takes the duty and kills her, and then David
shoots his mom in the face. I mean, jeez.
What?
He shoots his mom in the face.
Yes, he has to shoot his mom.
Thing.
He has to shoot zombie mom, but still, mom.
That's
shoots
pretty
mom
funny.
in the face.
Right. Nicole's laughing. I like that part.
I think because I don't dislike the character so much.
I was like, Barbara sucked so much. I'm glad she got shot in the face by herself.
Yeah, you're laughing when everyone's dying because you don't like them. So you're like, oh, finally.
When is everyone else gonna die?
So yeah, speaking of which, so we get David says something dickish to Shaun. Shaun punches him. David picks the gun up off the ground and shoots Shaun, but the gun doesn't go off because it's not loaded anyway. It's out of shots.
What an asshole!
He was gonna just shoot him. Like he's been the worst the whole movie, and now he's just like, all right, I'm out. Like his little stupid plan doesn't work. He's about to run out into the pack of zombies, and then before he has a chance, he has a little last-minute dialogue with Diane, Lucy Davis's character. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then the zombies break through the window and rip him apart and pull his guts out and pull his head off. And
that was
awesome.
Such a triumphant part of the movie for all of us, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, David.
I know, I was totally rooting for the zombies at that point.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah. So and they're pulling on his legs to try to pull him back in, and they just pull his legs off because the zombies just eating shit. And then Diane gets an unceremonious send-off, which I don't like because, again, I like Diane as a character. I really feel bad for her.
Yeah, we don't even get to say goodbye.
No, she's just like, I'm coming, David. And I don't know why she all of a sudden cares about David. Because to me, she doesn't care about David. She's there.
They're dating, right?
They are, but I don't understand. They're dating. We've kind of established they're dating because
that's not even ever clear.
They are. It is.
I always assumed they were.
At the beginning, they talk about how David's driving her to the theater and
you just called it a love square.
Dates.
Yeah, it just didn't. I mean, there was nothing betwing them, and that was
because
by design,
they were both there waiting for them to break up so that she could try to date Shaun and he could try to date Liz. I mean, nothing spoken, but that was obvious. I mean. So she gets unceremoniously dumped off. So now we're just down to Shaun, Ed, and Liz. They get in the zombie fight. My mom falls asleep. Nicole tries to wake up and continues to sleep. And I'm engaged. I'm like, yeah, zombie fight. Awesome.
Honestly, I just kind of zoned out a little bit right now when you were just talking about it again.
Oh, my God.
Zombie fight.
Zombie fight. Yeah, okay.
I kind of did. And I was kind of like, oh, wait, he's still talking about it.
So, zombie fight. They get to the basement. Ed's been attacked by the flatmate. Pete, who is part of the zombie mob,
Pete.
and he gets like his revenge on Ed because he's pissed off. And then another line that repeats later on, Shaun says, "I told you to leave him alone," because early on he said, "Leave him alone," and he shoots the flatmate zombie. Ed's all fucked up. They cause a little fire to try to distract. They go into the cellar. Ed's dying. They're trying to get out of the cellar. They have a heart-to-heart moment.
Where's Liz at?
Liz is with them. Liz, Ed, and
yeah,
I don't remember any of
Liz
this.
and Shaun.
Oh my god. They all escape to the cellar. They leave Ed with the gun because they figure out there's a lift out of the cellar. And they light Ed's cigarette. He's gonna die. They get out of, and they're about to fight all the zombies. Liz and Shaun being the only two left. And then the government shows up, and they just literally all these tanks and people and military guys show up and just mow down the herd of zombies. And we get the girl who's been showing up this whole time, the Shaun counterpart, who told the military to go back to pick him up. What?
Fake Liz.
Yeah, all right, fine. Mm-hmm. Fake Liz, whatever you want to call it. And they pick him up, and then we get a smash cut to 6 months later. And I love all the little TV shows. Everything's gone back to normal, and they just show all these little TV shows of after the zombie attack.
Right.
They have a zombie game show. They have a zombie dating show.
It's like a Maury Povich. I'm in love with the zombie.
Yeah, Trisha.
Take your zombie to work day.
You go to bed with it? I still love him, Trisha. I love that. And then they do the thing, because many of the zombies retain their basic motor skills, they became ideal candidates for the service industry. And then we see the zombies chained to carts, and they're pushing carts around around a grocery store.
Yeah.
So Liz and Shaun are now living together. They've reconciled. Everything's fine between them. Because all their friends are dead.
The flat is cleaner.
Yeah, the apartment's cleaner. It looks like they're at Liz's flat. Or maybe it's Shaun. Is it Shaun's?
Not Liz's. That's Shaun's flat, yeah.
Okay, so they're at Shaun's, Liz and Shaun.
Yeah.
They go over their day, which sounds like basically hanging out, watching TV, going to the Winchester, and then coming back. And then
right.
Shaun pops down to the shed real quick where zombie Ed is chained up and playing video games.
So basically he's the same.
Nicole,
funny.
And then Queen's "You're My Best Friend" plays, and we go to credits.
Yeah,
and that's Shaun of the Dead. So Feel and Resonance, Nicole.
It's a movie.
It is a movie.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna have to give the overall feel. I'll be generous. I'll give it a 3.
Oh, how gracious!
Like I said, none of the specifications of this movie line up with my favorites. Okay, but it is in its entirety. It is fun to watch, and I think that if I was not as tired when I was watching it the second time, I would have stayed awake and watched it again and would have enjoyed it more. But
I would say she did stay awake the first time she watched it. I
did.
That.
I did. I would like to have been awake this time too.
She has seen the whole movie, so
to see it again and really gather all the parts and see the little things that I missed the first time. But it's definitely a funny movie for the people that appreciate it more than I do.
And what do you think, Mama Kay?
I don't have an appreciation for zombie movies in the slightest, but I love this movie. I like Edgar Wright's films. I think he's got such a great point of view and gets it across really smartly. I give this movie a 4.5. I mean, I watch it all the time, and I'm worried about the fact that I watch this movie way too much for a woman my age. So I'm going to give it a 4.5, and maybe even I haven't seen Hot Fuzz. I've seen the third one, Into the
World's End. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's criminal, by the way, you haven't seen Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is my favorite Edgar Wright movie, and I can't wait to review that.
I know.
one.
This is called, the Cornetto Trilogy?
The Cornetto Trilogy, which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, all starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Are they all connected with storyline?
No.
Oh.
They're all some sort of disaster, not disaster, end of the like not even end of the world. Just, there's genre films, a zombie film, buddy cop film with a conspiracy theory twist, and a apocalypse movie. Yeah, so I mean overall feel and resonance for this. Yeah, it might be a 5. I think it's a
4.25.
I think it's a 5 because for me, I mean it's in my top 50 movies ever, maybe top like 30, something in that range, because it's just like, and I said, there's new things I've watched this time that I didn't see before, and I know next time that'll be the case. And a movie that's when you watch just tons of movies and there's stuff that just has that much value and rewatching it, that's just special. Like so many movies are, you watch them, whether they're good or bad, even if they're good, you just forget about them in a couple days or a week, and you never want to go back. And movies like this that have that energy throughout and are just uniquely shot, and the writing is so sharp, it makes you want to go back and notice more things. And those are the kind of movies I really appreciate. And that's it's better than everything it is together. It's just it flows so well. And even not liking like several of the characters and having a couple motivation problems, it's overcome by the uniqueness. And you have to say it's probably the first prominent buddy zombie comedy movie. Like it's kind of unique on its own. There have been movies like this since, but it's like the first of its kind of thing. And
a buddy zom rom-com.
A buddy zom rom-com. Like it's very nice. Unique, and it's done. It's produced and directed and written so well, and you could just tell everyone had to pay attention and put their all into it, and I really appreciate that. So we're gonna go into our final recommends now. I'll start with Nicole. Do you recommend Shaun of the Dead?
Oh, yeah, I do, actually. As much as it doesn't sound like I do, I know that there's definitely people that would enjoy this. It is funny. It's got that not having to think feel to it, which a lot of people enjoy when they're watching a movie. I do sometimes, for sure, but, to me, this isn't my favorite, but it's definitely got its cult fan club that keeps it going for this long. So I do recommend it.
Mama K?
Yeah, I'm going to recommend this movie too. I don't know that I'd be part of the cult fan club, but I really would. I think this is one of those ones where you can just sit and talk with somebody else. Maybe it is a cult thing now that I'm saying it out loud, but you can sit and talk minutiae with someone, or you can just talk about how fun it is to watch and how smart it is. So it's a recommend for me.
Yep, and I think it's made abundantly clear that this is a strong recommend for me, one of the strongest recommends I've given so far. I don't think it's even that dated. I think you could go in and never have seen this before and just really love it. The only problem with it right now is I don't think it's streaming anywhere. It's consistently coming on and off streaming and on and off TV, so if you catch it anywhere and it's on and available, it's absolutely worth it. It's really just fun, and I think engaging. I think it's hard to not pay attention when you're watching it. It's really good. Yeah. It's one of my favorite comedies, and
it's a keeper.
It's a keeper. So that's Shaun of the Dead. We have coming up later this week. We have not decided on a movie yet, so we'll let you know on social media what we're doing there. But next week we do know what we're doing. And that is Avengers Endgame. It is coming next week, that review. And it's going to be me and Mama K. Me trying to keep Mama K on track and on the rails.
Yeah, good luck with that. This is going to be a big one. This is it. This is the end of a 22 movie arc.
Holy shit.
I'll do. It's Endgame. It's the end of the largest franchise in movie history. I mean, not even Star Wars or Rocky or any other multi-decade franchises.
Rocky 22.
I mean, maybe Rocky will catch up one day, but no other movie franchise has as many movies as this universe, and it's culminating next week, or I guess this week, but we'll be reviewing its culmination next week. And then we've got Endgame, and that really kicks off our May. Endgame kicks off our May and June, which is full of theater reviews. Lots of good stuff. So if you want us to review anything specifically, that's Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Films Women Pod on Twitter, and I am Brennan_podhost on Instagram. Mama K, Nicole, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And until next time, everyone, this is Brennan signing off saying, enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, subscribe to us on iTunes. Please leave a review as it helps more people find the show. Like us on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, follow us on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod, and check out our website, filmswiththewomen.libsyn.com. That's filmswiththewomen.libsyn.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.